Oh, you've come back for another episode. You must be off your absolute pickle. Battery exhausted, she says. I'm fucking exhausted. Right, it's episode 2 and I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to do something a little bit different because people ask me about jigs. You've seen me make loads of necks, so now I'm going to show you how to make the jig to make the necks. Why do I like jigs? Shall we have a moment? I like jigs because they allow you, first off, making a jig is cool and it's stress-free. You don't have to worry about buggering up your guitar neck, do you? Your precious bit of baked, torrified, what do you call it, maple. Yeah, boy. Which is, you know, coveted. Oh, it's 5-star, 5A. Do you know what I mean? But a bit of ply. Let's bosh some ply together. And what that does is it gives you an afternoon of stress-free carpentry, which is nice, and with no worries of buggering anything up. And also it allows you consistency. So that's what we're going to do. This is Friday, everyone. Things are a little bit more serious on Fridays. I like doing a fluff piece, but really my art, which is very small and made of ice, prefers making guitars, which is what we do. I am a luthier, so fuck you if you've ever told me I'm not, pricks. I've cut my head angle on my neck. It's a bit rough and ready, but it's fine. The necks are all done. I've given them a tickle. These have been made for a few weeks now. I cut this wood down, this mahogany I cut down eons ago into the pieces. These have been made a couple of weeks. They've been lying around. One of them needed a tiny bit of a tickle. The other, and I've just flattened them so they're the same. They are identical bits of wood now. Beautiful. Cut me angle. You didn't need to see that. So we're going to make, obviously I've got to put a truss rod in. We've got to put the coveted spoke wheel truss rod on. These are Geiger. They are not from Geiger's official website. They're from AliExpress. Because for some reason they're not on the official Geiger website. On their official site, they've got this type, which is bulbous and cumbersome. I prefer this little teeny tiny brass block because that's 6mm, much easier to fit. Doesn't matter a fuck, ultimately, you can use that, it's not the problem. But he's bulbous, and I'm not up for girth when it comes to truss rods. So this is going to go on here, and it's going to be piece of piss, isn't it? So we do it, it's nice and easy. I have got the template for my do for what's it for my fretboard. I know where that goes, so I know where my truss rod's going to sit. It's going to sit like that. All right, beautiful, easy, piece of piss. Don't panic. I do need to make that a little bit bigger. Woo! So it encompasses my truss rod. So bit of knowledge for you. Truss rods come in various lengths. This is a Gibson scale length. This one will just about do it. He's a little bit long, a tiny bit, but not enough to have a wank over. You can use a shorter one for a Gibson scale length. Incidentally, well, just measure what you fucking need. How many facts and figures do you want from me? Jesus wept, man. I want to get this done because I want to start making my new bench, which will appear soon. And I'm not filming that because like making jigs, I'm going to do it stress-free. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be like Optimus Prime's ball bag. There's little sections and I've been thinking about it for a long time. You'll just have to wait for the reveal, which I may or may not do in my pants. Right, I'm digressing. We are making, this. You've seen it many, many times. All right, your neck fits in there. We've got some little spacey spacersons. Everything sits in and the router fits in there. So you're going to make this to suit your router. It means you cannot have a speed wobble. I know there are brackets that you can get to go into router beds and you can hold them gently. Some people use a router table with a back on it and put it upside down and cut a channel. I don't like upsy downsies on router tables. I'm not a fan. It's not something I do a lot of. I like to see what I'm doing. I like to be able to appreciate the impending doom. So I'll make jigs. Oh, that's easy, innit? You cannot get that wrong. Let's just whip through what I'm going to do. Just have a little final look. We've got a base, we've got sides, and we've got these little spacers here. This is my Fender style one, which I'm not using on this build. This is a 19mm stand in here. And that is because my neck blanks for Fender guitars, unless they're one piece, are 19mm. You can't cover every eventuality, but you can cover some of them. Oh, shit in the eye, shit in the eye. So apologies, it's we're going to be screwing a box together now. There you go. That's complicated, isn't it? It should be easy for you to digest. I have made a slight change, an improvement, some might say. Here is me bass. You can get all these cut at your hardware store, but I think if you're about to try and make a guitar, I'm assuming you're the kind of man, or four ladies, that knows how to cut a bit of ply square and straight. If you're going to buy a track saw, buy a short one and a long one, because otherwise every time you want to cut a short one, you've got to take your long one apart, which is a pain in the ass. So get a track saw, amazing tools. If you haven't got a track saw, clamp your level down. Don't clamp a bit of wood down because it won't be straight. There's me bass, right? I'm going to screw the sides on, and you don't need to see that, do you? Ready? Should we just click our fingers? Oh, the magic. Look at that. I like a bit of camera magic. I was on the phone then, I was picking my ass. I was doing everything that a man wants to do when he's on his own and the cameras are not rolling. So we've got a box, a little coffin for your lizard or your badger or whatever you've knocked over on the road. We've got to put some innards in now. I've marked a centre line everywhere, all right? It doesn't even need to be that accurate because it doesn't at the minute. We've got some sides, so we're going to bang some sides in. I'm not going to glue any of this. There's no point gluing any of it. So I'm going to bang some sides in. I'm going to make sure everything's nice and flat and tight and lovely. I'll leave the cameras rolling while I'm doing this. Marvellous. Right. Hoovers are your best friend. I've got several. I've got 3 Hoovers in here. Oh, and a dust extractor. Fuck. Snobby twat. So, what's important about these pieces, incidentally, these side pieces, is the fact that they are the same size as my neck blanks, all right? So when everything sits in, it's all sat nice and flush. I like to make my necks to 42 mil. These are 42 mil. I used to make them to 40 mil, but I've decided to up my game a little bit because I've made it now in the big time. Not sure that's fucking true. So that one is going to go on there, and this is because of the change that I've made on my old jig. Right, I tend to use these as little blocks for securing things in, and we'll just pin them in with some machine screws, and they will help just to hold your neck blank in place at the ends and all that sort of stuff. That's cool, but I have made an improvement. Here is the top of me box. It's got to slide in and out, so I'm going to make life a little bit easier. And I'm just going to whip off the corners. Incidentally, next week I'll have my Chief Mung Bean hat on, but it's the most illegible bit of fucking italic writing you can ever imagine. But I tried. Merry fucking Christmas. So the top's going to go on. Whoa. And we can slip him in. He's going to be tight. He's going to be very tight. The astute among you will realise it's tight top and bottom, but it's not tight on the sides. And I've done that on purpose because I want a little bit of adjustment, which I didn't have in my old system. There's the centre line. I need to cut 2 tracks now, which ideally I wouldn't cut out of wood, but I haven't got anything posh to make them out of. So that's tough shit, isn't it? I'll have to use wood. 2 seconds. Now at this point, are you still with me? Because I'll get asked for jig videos, and that's why I'm fucking making it.
This is boring.
At this point, I want to know how wide my router is. And it's 145 mil. I'm going to check a few different spots and places. It's about 146. 146 mil. Do the maths. What's that? 73 either side. Lovely. Right. Right, I know that that one's going to go on there. So I can pin that one on. And then what we'll do, we'll place the other one with the router base on there. Oh, it's riveting. It's riveting stuff. Now I've cut these on the track saw. They should be bang on, but I don't trust that. So I'm going to check that when I screw this down, it's going down straight. Clever. It don't get much straighter than that. That's fucking banging. Right, now the important bit. I'm whizzing through this because it would be nice to actually do some guitar building. I know what you're thinking. Get to it, Paul, dickhead. Smooth. a smooth action. You can always adjust these. They might swell, do a bit of weird stuff. Look at that. Oh, porn. That is literally porn. Not much use like that. We've got to put a little groove down the middle now, haven't we? So we're going to go over to the router station. I'm going to cut cameras. I might go and have a coffee first because I'm a little bit famished. And then I want to talk to you. I've got some questions, so don't go anywhere. Early the next morning. Right, I'm putting slots in the top of here, and I was going to do it without showing you, but I'm going to show you. I've drilled through. There's a hole there, so I know where I'm going, and I'm going to put a slot in the top of this. And you might be thinking, why? Right, matching hole in here. Threaded inserts. Oh, right, that'll make sense in a minute. One of the comments I get a lot, and I don't blame you for it, is why didn't you do that in the laser machine? Well, my laser machine won't cut anything this big. It does 750mm long pieces of timber. This is too big. This is almost big enough to fit a base neck in. I'll leave you with that cheeky little thought. This is looking good, okay? I do cut some things on the laser machine, like all of my templates. And these little cheeky numbers, what are these, you're asking? Well, here's the next stage. We're almost there. We're almost ready to show this thing in action. Nice and clear on the bottom. She's going to sit in midway. Right, that's simple, isn't it? Now, these are going to hold our neck blank in place. And I'm going to do the same with threaded inserts. We only need a few. So now I've got them in place, I'm going to put some threaded inserts in the bottom of that as well. All right, we'll whiz through that and you can see what it looks like when it's ready. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So I've basically got the screws that I use for my necks. They're just going to go down through there. They might be a bit long, if I'm honest. And there you go. Stage 1, neck blank is in there. Look at that, right? It's held in place. The final bit, the bit I've modernised since my other jig that I'm particularly proud of. So when that goes on there and it falls in the O, story of my life, it goes on there, that's all nice and easy. We line him up. Sometimes when you pop the top on, it's not quite lined up with your centre line, and that's where these slots have come in, because I'm really clever. So basically you can look through there. I don't know if you can see, I'll bring Dave in for a proper look. Come on, Dave, you prick. And I'll use the optical zoom for a premium quality. Coming in. Now you may or may not be able to see that centre line is not perfectly aligned with me groove. So now I can just manually nip. Previously I'd have to take the top off now, readjust everything underneath, get it bit by bit and get it there. No need now. We can just slide this top around. Close enough's good enough. And then nip him up once we're happy. I've got to be careful because occasionally I'll film the top of my head leaning in and it looks like fucking Jimmy Savile's head.
Touchy, touchy.
Thank you. Perfect. Right, we're ready to go. It is important to get your neck blanks the same thickness as the blanks on the side so that you've not got any bounce and everything's going to fit nicely. That's lovely jubbly. Where's me truss rods? These are 6mm wide truss. Oh, fuck me, that's close. Woo! Zoom out, Dave. Zoom out. Retreat. These truss rods are 6mm wide. Makes life very easy. We just got to go down the depth of that block on both ends. Piece of piss. Cue speedy uppy. Right, that was simple enough. We're on. We've got truss rod grooves. Obviously, I've had to do 2, haven't I? That's the joy of doing it this way. That all fits fine, but you'll notice, oh, it's not quite right there. It's not quite right. On the close-up, you can see how pretty good you can get. Having centre stripes, it fucking shows you up if you're a quarter of a mil out, which I am there. It don't matter a fuck, all right? Don't worry about it. Don't think about commenting Trevor. That's what I'm going to name. I know I've got a couple of viewers called Trevor, and I'm not holding it against Trevor's, all right? It's just a funny name, and if I get a shitty comment, that's what I'm going to refer to it as. I did actually know someone called Trevor back in the day. He was a labourer on site, and he's the sort of guy that would try and carbonate his own semen in a soda stream just to see if it was scientifically possible. So that's why I use that name. It's nothing, and he was Ginger. Ginger Trev, that's what everyone called him. Or, if he wasn't there, we just call him Cunt. Right, so I've got to cut me do for what's it now. The revelation of this build is, this body shape, because of the shape of it, there's no way really to make a neck pocket that I can screw in. So it's going to be a glue-in neck pocket, which is why the neck that we're making is still got a tenon on the back of it, because I want to be able to glue the bugger in, because it's going to be better. Things to note. I've got to cut me little notch now at the bottom of there so we can do the truss rod. I go down 20 mil. The reason I go down 20 mil, and here's a bit of maths for you. On a finished neck, the fretboard, on a Fender style straight guitar, which is what this is, hip shot bridge, the fretboard is pretty much the only thing above the guitar body, and a little bit of this, just a smidgen. And I make humbucker routes and P90 routes 20 mil deep. There you go. So I'm going to come down 20 mil on here so that when we stick our tenon in, it's going to be very close to the depth of the humbucker route. Forward planning like you would not believe. So that is a simple little process. I've adjusted my template to give me a little bit more room. So that is just inside flush, and we are just shy of the nut. Oh, look at that little tickle. So I know that that is all good. I've got my nut line. I'm just going to mark where the end of my tenon is. So what I'm going to do to make life easy for myself, right, is I'm actually going to cut my tenon where my truss rod starts. It saves me having to route out the neck for the truss rod. We'll just have a little bit of overhang on the fretboard, and it will all look tickety-boo because it'll be up tight to the P90. Oh, sexual, I know. Sexual healing. Same this side. You don't have to do that. You can router out. You can use this as a template and router it all out and do all that if you want. Makes no odds, really. So we'll whip this over on El Chopperific. 20 mil tenon all the way. Give her a little touch up. Bit of a sand. It should look quite sexual. Just like this. Change of plan. I'm just going to cut these out and router them so they're the right shape, all right? Just explaining the speedy uppy. Back to the whiz. Right, I'm going to get myself a healthy lunch, and then after lunch, we're going to be going downstairs for some fretboard making, because I want to cut this out on the laser. So we're going to have to do some experimentation, and hopefully I don't fuck up £1 million worth of fretboards. Because this is 9 million year old bogwood. It's not 9 million. I think 6,000 year old bog oak, but this is actually different to the last lot because it's more quarter sawn, rift sawn, whatever sawn you want to fucking saw it. Bear in mind, I like to screw down my neck templates when I'm routering. Make sure you do it. I've screwed that in the bottom of the tenon, so no one's ever going to see that. And I've screwed in the headstock with a shortened screw, because when we then do the angled headstock, we're not going to see that bit. So it's gone. Just holds it nice and secure for the router. No mistakes making. And we've got two done. Look at that. We're on it. On it like a Scotch bonnet. I've got to widen out the end there to take me bulbous end. That doesn't matter a fuck, does it? And then, so basically we're going to go downstairs and I'm going to manufacture 2 fretboards, and I'm going to get them and we're going to glue them exactly in the right place. Exactly. No messing around. To be fair, I could make this laser template a little bit wider if I wanted so that we can trim it off. I don't think there's any need for that. I think we can just go balls deep. Everything's just going to line up on the end. You can see what I meant there. Look, we've got overhang of the fretboard, little line up on the end. That is going to be super simple, very sexy. This guitar is very cool. It's a little bit different. Never made one like this. And you can win it. Don't forget, raffle below. Woohoo! I'll see you after I've had a noodle salad. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's noodles and there's solidified things in there. Right, I reckon I'm far enough. Issues I've found, right, it's all very well cutting templates out of MDF. This is Medite, it's designed for laser machines. It cuts it like a queef through butter. It's fucking, that's an aggressive queef. I know that, but it doesn't like brown wood. It's an absolute twat. I've cut some slots and I've had to touch them up. And then I've cut, oh fuck, I've just lost one already. I'm going to have to touch them up and give them a bit of love, but I'm going to do it in a bit of a different way. Basically, I'm going to get this glued on now, onto the fret, onto the neck, get it glued on. I'll cut this out with a laser. You've got to go through with so many passes, it's giving me a shit edge. So what I would do differently next time is I would cut these way oversized, like a couple of mil oversized. I'll stretch the file that way, not that way. We'll keep a scale length all correct, so that I can then glue it on. Everything's correct lengthways. I'll have all my notches cut in there, but I can just trim the sides to the neck. That is the way forward. Learning as we go, just for a fucking change. But this one, as it happens, all I'm gonna do, it's so close, I could probably sand it in and we'd be fine. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'll bind this neck up, both of them, with a bit of black binding, which will just give it a nice tidy edge. And then what I'm going to do, once I've bound it, I'm going to cut through the binding so that our little bits of mango will be sticking out the side, because I want them visible top and bottom. Oh, fuck it up. So that'll do for today. You've learned how to make a jig. We've cut a truss rod. That's our result. It's all spanky-dory, easy, yeah? Make yourself a jig. Bit different, bit of a different episode. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't like it. If you tell me it's boring, I'll just ignore your comment. That's fine, but I will have read it. So fuck you. You've hurt me to the soul. Just so you know. All right, ball bags. Love you lots. Special wave. And I'll see you next week when this neck will be done. We'll cut some holes and get everything sorted. Well, I might put some network in. I'll put some bits in next week. And the final episode, I've got someone coming over here on Saturday, and he's a painter. He's a very good painter, and he's bringing a very expensive airbrush kit. So before he gets here, I need to have these all done and made and finished, and then he is going to come and we are going to airbrush a little cheeky burst on there, and then go over it with a bit of clear coat. Oh ho ho! I am going to make a matching headstock plate. There you go. And that'll have a cheeky burst on as well. I've never done that. Oh, sexy twat. Hopefully that's enough to make you come back. Make sure you hype my video, share, buy yourself a neck rest, get a t-shirt, whatever you want to fucking do. If you don't want to buy anything, you don't have to spend anything on me. That's fine. But if you're going to buy any tools, follow affiliate links. That's what helps YouTubers. Not necessarily mine. Whatever video you're watching, whatever YouTuber you like, follow his affiliate link and buy it through them. It costs you no extra, but it helps them out on the back end, doesn't it? Because YouTube is fucking tight. That's all I'm saying. Love you. Bye. Special wave.
Hi there, welcome back. I'm so glad you could join me today. You're going to need a lot of paint if you're joining us today, because we're going to be painting your fat ass mother, and that bitch is going to take up the whole canvas. Let's get started.